Hi, everybody, and welcome to Lovefraud Live. Sociopaths always abuse their romantic partners. Now, we know physical violence is abuse. We know yelling and name-calling is abuse. But we may not recognize the abusive nature of other sociopathic behaviors. I'm Donna Andersen, author of Lovefraud.com, and tonight I will explain 11 subtle ways in which sociopaths abuse their romantic partners. As always, I'll answer your questions at the end of this short presentation. To join the chat or ask a question, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you want to contribute to Lovefraud, you can also use the super chat, which is the $ below the chat window. Okay, when Lovefraud readers ask me for personal consultations, it's because someone in their lives, usually a romantic partner, acts in ways that they simply cannot understand. The readers describe an unfathomable mixture of affection, attention, contradictions, deception, blaming, and rage. It makes no sense, and it's behavior that they've never seen before. So imagine their surprise when I say, yeah, they all do that. It's true. Sociopaths all seem to engage in the same abusive behaviors. Now, recognizing physical and sexual abuse is straightforward enough. And you may also be aware of verbal, psychological, and emotional abuse. But if you're involved with a sociopath, you may also see some of the following behaviors which are also abusive. Here's number 1. Blaming you for his or her bad behavior. No matter what the sociopath does, from disappearing without explanation to cheating on you, to physically assaulting you, he or she will say it's your fault. You weren't attentive enough, or you complained too much, or you pushed his or her buttons. They will tell you this with so much outrage that you may actually start to believe it. Here's number 2. The smear campaign. Long before you had any inkling that there was a problem in your relationship, the sociopath begins trashing you behind your back to family, friends, neighbors, and even the police. He or she may say that you're mentally ill, cheating, doing drugs, or other lies. The objective is to take down your support network so that when you finally realize what's going on and reach out for help, nobody believes you. Here's number 3. Telling you that no one else will want you. In the beginning of your involvement, the sociopath showers you with compliments. You're beautiful, smart, fun, and sexy. Now, the sociopath tells you that you're old, fat, ugly, and stupid. The sociopath says he or she stays with you out of obligation or pity, and you'll never find another partner. This is designed to weaken your confidence and self-esteem so that you're afraid to leave. Here's number 4. Constant calls and text messages. Early in your relationship, the sociopath probably called and texted constantly, claiming he or she was head over heels for you. You may have thought it was cute, proof of their true love. But gradually, the calls and texts became intrusive, and now they're used to control you. If you don't answer back or call and text back immediately, he or she will fly into a rage. Here's number 5. Demanding to know everything you do. The calls and text messages are just the first stage of controlling behavior. Eventually, the sociopath may make you account for every minute of your day, demanding to know what you did, whom you spoke to, and what was said. And what are the consequences of not answering or providing the wrong answer? rage. Eventually, you may be afraid to do anything without the sociopath's permission. Here's number 6. Relaying what other people are supposedly saying about you. The sociopath may tell you that your family, friends, and neighbors have bad opinions about you or think that there's something wrong with you. In reality, he or she is fabricating all the stories, but you don't know that. The objective is to shake your confidence by making you believe that people don't like you or think there's something wrong with you. The less confidence you have, the easier you are to control. Here's number 7. Manipulating the money. Sociopaths typically drain you financially in one of 2 ways. First, they get you to pay all the expenses and run up your credit cards until you're broke. And second, they convince you to quit your job, perhaps to take care of their kids, and make you financially dependent on them. Either way, when you've had enough and want to escape the relationship, you don't have the resources to leave. Here's number 8. Accusing you of cheating. Many sociopaths will accuse you of cheating on them. Now, even though they have no basis for making these accusations, they say you're sleeping with your coworkers or you're still involved with a previous romantic interest. Why do they do this? Because they're cheating, so they assume that you're cheating also. Here's number 6. Using your deepest secrets against you. Back when you were in the honeymoon phase of your relationship, when the sociopath was showering you with attention and you thought it was true love, you may have shared some deeply personal information. Perhaps you had once been abused, or perhaps at one time you had an addiction, whatever. Eventually, the sociopath uses that personal information as ammunition to hurt you. Here's number 10. Electronic surveillance. Today's technology is great, but unfortunately, it has a dark side. Software to monitor your computer and cell phone, GPS tracking devices, and tiny microphones to bug your home are all cheap and easy to install. If you feel like the sociopath is reading your mind, it may actually be that he or she has you under surveillance. Here's number 11. Threatening suicide. Now, as shocking as this may seem, threatening suicide is a typical sociopathic behavior. The idea is to guilt you into staying in the relationship. The sociopath may be bluffing with the suicide threats, or they may be serious. Either way, know that you are not responsible. The best thing you can do is call 911. So those are 11 subtle ways that sociopaths abuse you. What you need to know about these behaviors is that they are sociopathic strategies of power and control. The sociopath does not engage in these behaviors because you did something to deserve it. All of these forms of abuse come right out of the sociopath's playbook. He or she probably treated every other partner they ever had exactly the same way. Now, why is this important to understand? Because by recognizing that sociopaths engage in these behaviors all the time, you can take back your power. The sociopath's actions are not your fault. In fact, it doesn't matter what you do. The sociopath's behavior will not change. So, you might as well get out. Okay, let's see if we have some questions here. Wow, Patricia's here from England after 1 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have someone, Jersey Tomato from Cape May. Gosh, that's like right down the street from where I'm located. All right. So Video Vault says, oftentimes the smears are projections, especially if the topic is cheating. It's usually the sociopath cheating on you. Yeah, a lot of people have noticed that. They've noticed this projection where the sociopath accuses you of things that they themselves are doing. In fact, once you get over the shock of what they're saying to you, you can kind of use that to figure out what they're up to. Whatever they're accusing you of doing, they had to figure this out from somewhere, and it could be because they're the ones doing it. So pay attention to what they accuse you of, because they may actually be confessing what they're doing. Okay, so Kinda asks, why did it seem like the sociopath was trying to erase me and become me? Sociopaths are cardboard cutouts of people. I mean, they really don't have anything going on inside. They're empty shells. So consequently, one of the things that they learn to do is to mirror what you do and to imitate what you do. I mean, I've actually had people tell me that it seemed like I was falling in love with my twin, although it's only a temporary twin, because the person is just mirroring what the partner is doing, because there's nothing inside. So in the beginning, I would say that it's a seduction strategy. It's, they're trying to make you feel like you have so much in common, that you're meant for each other, and everything like that. And eventually, in some cases, the sociopath's objective is to try to demolish you. That's not always the case, but luckily it wasn't the case for me. My sociopathic ex-husband just wanted my money, and when the money was gone, he was gone. But I've heard many, many, many stories of sociopaths who just seem to want to crush the person into the dirt, just really shred them so that there's nothing left. I don't know why they do it. I mean, some people have speculated it's because they feel empty inside. I'm not sure about that. It probably could also be that they just have such a desire for power and control, and this to them feels like an amazing amount of power and control to try and push someone almost out of existence. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly why sociopaths do what they do. And the thing to keep in mind is that even if we can kind of figure it out, we'll never understand it, because we're not like them. I mean, actually, the key to understanding sociopaths is to come to terms with how different they are, how alien they are from the rest of us. I mean, they really are totally different. Their motivations are totally different. And if you can get your brain wrapped around that, then you can at least start to anticipate what they're doing, or see through what they're doing, although it'll never make sense to you. Okay. Crispy Chicken. Well, that's a cute name. Is it hard to tell the difference between a sociopath and a narcissist when the narcissist is on a down period, depressed? There is a lot of overlap among all these personality disorders. In fact, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you may have heard me explain that I use the word sociopath as an umbrella term for all of the personality disorders in which the people who have them exploit and manipulate others. The word sociopath is not a clinical diagnosis at all anymore. It was at one time, but that disorder the name of the disorder was changed to antisocial personality disorder. Now, unfortunately, antisocial personality disorder is a mouthful, so people tend to use the word sociopath as equivalent of that. Not quite accurate, but that's the way it is. So anyway, I use the word sociopath as an umbrella term for antisocial, narcissistic, borderline, histrionic, and psychopathic personality disorders. The first four are cluster B disorders in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of the American Psychiatric Association, which is the Bible for mental health providers. And then all the psychopathy researchers use the term psychopath. In reality, there's a lot of overlap. In fact, narcissism is one of the diagnostic criteria for psychopathy. So it's very hard to tell what disorder somebody may actually have. And in my opinion, from our point of view, it doesn't matter. All you need to know is that this person has a serious personality disorder and it will never get better. It just won't change. So, I mean, you could make yourself crazy trying to figure out, is it antisocial or is it narcissism? It really doesn't matter. I mean, what you need to know is that they're bad news and to get this person out of your life. I mean, the only people who really need to know what the precise diagnosis is a therapist who's trying to treat them. But if that's not you, it really doesn't matter. So I would say, don't fool yourself into thinking that this person is only only a narcissist, which isn't as bad as antisocial. They're all bad, and you deserve better. So the best thing to do is get the person out of your life. Oh, okay. So Chanel says, my sociopathic husband monitored me at home with cameras. He never left my side, didn't work, and would follow me everywhere. What are the long-term effects when dealing with this kind of abuse? It's pretty serious abuse. And there can be lots of effects. The stress of that type of abuse, I mean, first of all, you're stressed, but second of all, it can make you sick. I mean, physically ill. We have a webinar actually about the what happens physically when you're involved with a sociopath, because there's all this cortisol, which is a stress hormone, coursing through your body, and it just wreaks havoc on your system. So it's possible that you'll have physical issues that you need to deal with. Psychologically, that requires an awful lot of recovery as well. I mean, you've been psychologically and emotionally abused. It's kind of like being a captive, and that's bad. Actually, some people actually end up suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, which is that's a disorder that was first named, when was it? Back in the 70s, maybe? I can't remember exactly. But these people, bank robbers, ran into a bank in Stockholm and held everybody in the bank as hostage for quite a long time, maybe a few days or something. And surprisingly enough, the hostages bonded with their captors. And essentially what that is a survival mechanism, in that you're trying to appease the person and think, well, maybe that's not all that bad. And psychologically, it's so you can survive. So you may have that going on where you still feel bonded to this person. So that would need to be unraveled. There could be trauma. So you might need to get a therapist who specializes in trauma. So there can definitely be lots of effects of that. I would suggest, first of all, you get away from this person if you haven't already done that. And then once you do, you might want to seek some therapy to help you overcome everything that's happened. Oh boy. So Tamara says, my friend's 10-year-old kids believe their mom when she says her sociopathic partner has stopped drugs and is safe to be around. I know this is not true. How much do I tell the kids to keep them safe? That's a really tricky situation. The one thing that I think you can do is tell the kids that if they ever need you, you're there. You know, if anything ever happens, you don't need to be specific, but if anything ever happens and they're afraid or they're lost or somebody's not there, they can call you. Make sure they have your phone number, your cell phone, make sure they memorize it. Because that's a really difficult situation. The main thing is to let them know that if they ever need help, that you're available. I think that that's the best thing that you can do. Okay. Okay, so Penny says, mine is trying to destroy me while we're going through a divorce. Why does he do that? Well, that's what sociopaths do. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes that's the only answer, is that's what they do. If you're going through a divorce, he's done with you. And now it's just a matter of getting as much as he can out of you. They think they're entitled to everything. They think that, especially, once there's a divorce underway, their objective is to get all the money they can, all the property they can, all the assets they can, and to ruin you in the process, not only financially, but emotionally, and also, trying to make it so that you're the evil one. You're the one who left. You're the one who's crazy. You're the one who's violent, or something like that. Revenge. I mean, who knows exactly why they do it, but it's awful, and what you're describing is just very typical of divorcing a sociopath. All right. Now, I know that the minute I say that that's the end of the questions, somebody will ask a question, so I'll wait just a couple minutes. But anyhow, back to the topic. Any behavior that makes you feel less than is to a certain extent abusive. Real romantic relationships are not like that. In real loving relationships, both partners support each other. They want what's best for each other. They help each other. They want to be with each other. I mean, that's what a real relationship is. And if there's all this drama going on all the time, and you feel like you're competing with whoever he's cheating with, or the job, or who knows what else, that's not a real loving relationship. And, we all deserve better than that. Let's see if we have another question. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, it looks like that's it for tonight. I thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you again next week for the next episode of Lovefraud Live. Good night.